Juggle Ass, all right. How's the music sound? Can you hear me okay? Play that song and then get ready to roll here. Sound check. Good evening, Juggle Ass. Got 3 in here, all right. Okay. Maybe it's too loud. I don't know how it picks up, you know. Got Ethan joining us tonight from Citizens Science Oral Health Project, part 2. I don't know if you caught the first part. Some good stuff. If you didn't, go back and check it out. Gonna join us about 10:05, about 3 minutes. You should be here. Got 8 in here. All right. Juggle Ass, it's good to see you. Who else we got? Anyone I know? How many thumbs up we got? How many of that 8 are pigs? That's what I want to know. 9 now. All right. I can't even see the thumbs up. Oh, check it later. Ethan should be here about 2 minutes. From Gibraltar. All right. Oscar Garcia. Gibraltar. Is that in Spain? Is that by Spain? I feel like I should know that. No, the Rock of Gibraltar. Sure that's what we're referring to either. Gibraltar. A long ways away from here. I know it ain't the States Corporation. Ethan, all right. Right on time. 2 minutes early. To make them wait till 10:05, huh? Well, the reason we're here is for Ethan's gonna pick up where he left off, and let's see, let's get him in here.
Hey,
Ethan,
Chris.
good evening. Right on time. 2 minutes early.
What that?
I'm impressed. Thank you for being on time and everything. Spain, I was right. All right. Got a guy from Gibraltar joining us. Dropped in the comments, Oscar Garcia. And I went out on a limb. I said, is that in Spain? And I was right. So Spain, entrance to the Mediterranean. That's probably, you know, that's some ancient territory there. Then we got Juggle Asses here joining us. We had 8, 9 in the house. We got 5 now is what I'm seeing. I don't know how many thumbs up we got. That's usually how I gauge how many are pigs and how many are here to support us. Do you remember where you left off with your story?
Oh, I don't. And there's so much to my story. I tried to cover a lot of ground, and
Yeah.
and then you disappeared. The others here disappeared, and I was feeling a little bit lonely, a little bit lost. I couldn't figure out what was going on, but it looked like the stream was still live, so I rambled on. So I don't know if do you have any questions for me, or is there any questions in the chat to kind of get started with?
Not yet. We got 5 in the house and 5 thumbs up. Juggle Asses says so. That's pretty damn good. I'm glad we put that up there scheduled. There's some people ready to join us. Juggle Asses is very loyal supporter of my channel. So and that's all I know. We got 5 thumbs up. Oscar Garcia from Gibraltar, Spain, and Juggle Asses from Tennessee, right? Tennessee Volunteers, right? Juggle Asses.
All right, so the chat doesn't show for me.
Okay, yeah, I'll keep up on it with for you and for us. And
so,
can you hear me? Okay.
I hear you fine.
Okay, I hear you good too. You want to do a quick recap? Just introduce yourself for those that haven't caught our first stream together. And
all right, so you can call me Ethan. That is my name. In the quantum, it would be block letter, would be capital letter first and then lowercase. It'd be : Ethan -D : Dean, period. I am, for a fact, the world's leading authority on oral health with cannabis. And I've held that title for 5 years. This has made me something like public enemy #1. The establishment is very not happy with me. And what's up, Chris?
quick question. Nobody held that title before you, right?
Right.
You're pretty much a pioneer in that regard, right?
Fact.
Okay. So I thought.
To my knowledge, I am the first to bring forward scientific proof of health benefits for cannabis. I don't want to say medicinal. We're so we're trapped with all this Babylonian spelling, and so I am existing in both worlds. I'm existing in the Babylonian world. I'm existing in the now time, now space theater. I am not a postmaster in contract with Russell where I have access to learn quantum grammar. For the people here listening to this, if you don't know about Russell Gould or the Russell -J : Gould, period. He's quite an interesting man, and 30 years of work is not discredited. And I'm quite confident that quantum grammar will rule the day shortly. And that's our way out of the Babylonian system. So Russell well, where do I want to go with this?
Well, I got something to say about that real quick. About the grammar, the quantum grammar, that is really something. I believe in it, but it's pretty complicated, for to expect everyone to pick up on it, But it is a bulletproof way to address their fraud, basically, But
right, well,
I think more simply, regular grammar. I mean, you can shut down everything they try to come at you with, just with the rules of regular grammar, because they abuse it so bad. I mean, there's different languages under documents. The all capital letters. That's not English. So if I can't even determine what language they're coming at me with a presentment, maybe we'll start with that, and then grammar. We got past, present, and future tenses. Possessive words that they abuse. To trick you. Then there's law Latin, which isn't supposed to be being used. It's considered a different language too. So you got English, law Latin, regular Latin, dog Latin, and then abbreviations, technical jargon, which I can't be expected to understand, and to name a few.
Yeah, there's a long list.
That quantum grammar is next level,
Brackets, it's not on the page. If it's in a box, it's not on the page.
Oh, yeah, there's that too. Yeah, the rules of documents,
I
haven't seen that. Every other pig Latin.
Grammar was my worst subject. My penmanship has been terrible. My ability to write words and spell them correctly has been atrocious, and all my life. I've learned more about. Well, I've done a lot of reading and a lot of writing over the last several years, and it's my least favorite thing to do. And so the thing about the quantum grammar is, one of the things about quantum grammar, it is correct sentence structure, communication, parsing, syntax, grammar, performance. And the sentence, there's, as I comprehend it, there are multiple dictionaries. There's a dictionary for science. There's a dictionary for medicine. There's different dictionaries because there's so many words. And, the way I look at that, they are different languages. You try talking physics or medicine or, different specialties. It's just like all the advances. When I was growing up, nobody had a cell phone, nobody had a computer, nobody knew what a bit was, a megabyte, an email, or anything. And now, look, it's a language there, right? And so the Babylonian system was designed to enslave us, and that's exactly what it did. And the bar. Now, all I've heard is British accredited registry, but Russell, I call him Rusty, no disrespect. It's rather than calling out Russell -J Gould period, I refer to him as Rusty. And so Rusty says that the sentence will say the same thing reading it forward and backwards. The beauty of quantum grammar is there's nothing to argue about with the words. And this is what these bar attorneys do. These bar attorneys spend all their time arguing over the words, the meaning of the words. And then they work within their time schedules, right?
Well, that's because he syntaxes his own documents before he files anything. It already, they can't question anything because he has it right there to syntax by saying a word is an adjective or verb, because that way it can't be misconstrued or have a double meaning, because that's what they thrive on is their stuff. They're counting on you to fill in the blanks and to misinterpret it to your own detriment. It's a misrepresentation of a material fact designed to induce somebody to act to his or her own detriment. That's the definition of fraud. But he just he polished it. He took it to the next level. But he's taken out any wiggle room for them, But that's so far advanced for most people, and I believe in it, But it's really not necessary because
well, in actuality, it really is, because there's so it also you lose there's no deviation or loss from one language to another. So it basically interfaces all languages. And quantum grammar, as I comprehend it, is essentially contract language. So now it's English grammar was one of my worst subjects, and so to talk about punctuation and prefix and suffix and nouns and pronouns and on and on and on. Like that stuff got real confusing for me, and it still is. But I think what do you call the beginning of the word, like income? What would you call that? The first part, on the word income, or invalid, or anything. Is that the prefix? Whatever that is.
I believe so. I mean, I'm no expert, but if you take apart words like that, you can find the real meaning of them. If you think of every word that starts with "in" that you can think of, list 20 of them, and then you'll see, when you look at them all together,
So Russell says this is all in the older dictionaries. I'm kind of reaching here. I want to say 1870s Webster.
Oldest one I got 1956 or something, but it's
Halleck.
Way, it's far superior to anything modern.
Yeah, see, they keep moving the valuable information, right, as the years go on. That's part of the trick. That's
How about
part
this?
of the dumbing.
Let's define grammar.
One of the primary objectives of the American Bar Association, when the American Bar Association was formed in the late 1800s, one of their primary objectives was the setting of the academic standards for America. The American Bar Association should be called the British Bar Association. I was
That doesn't
watching
even
them.
make sense. The American British accredited Regency, the American British. That doesn't, you know.
British. The American Bar Association should be called the British Bar Association, because that's what it is. It's all bar attorneys. It's all British. It's all statutes, acts, codes, rules, regulations, ordinances. It's all bullshit. And we got to. It's time to be done with the bullshit. We got to kill the bull. The bar has got.
You want a definition of grammar from this Webster's etymological dictionary from 1956 or 54, I think. Definition of grammar. Yeah. You ready? You want it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just let's see what it says. Grammar, noun, says. Pronunciation. Supply our art. Grammar, learning from gramma, something written, a letter, from grapheme, to write. The art of speaking or writing a language with propriety or correctness. There you go. According to established usage. 2. A system of general principles and of particular rules for speaking or writing a language. A digested compilation of customary forms of speech in a nation. Also, a book containing such principles and rules. That would be the style manual, Chicago Manual of Styles. That's the rules of grammar for the English language. You can always call them out on that. They're done. They can't support their stuff. Chicago Manual of Styles. 3. Speech or writing in accordance with the rules of grammar, propriety of speech. 4. The study or exposition of the principles which underlie the use of language in general, philology. 5. An outline of the principles of any subject as a grammar of logic. Comparative grammar, the study which regards the resemblances and differences of various languages, classifying them in accordance with their affinities. Grammar, to discourse something according to the rules of grammar. Grammar, to teach. Grammarian, this would be Russell, I think. One versed in grammar or the construction of languages. A philologist. That's what Russell is. I got a philologist. He's also a genius, that guy, you know. 2. One who teaches or writes upon grammar. Grammar and grammarianism. The strict observance of grammatical rules and forms. Pedantry. Grammarianism. Grammarless, devoid of grammar. That's their presentments, you know, from these kangaroo courts.
Yeah, I wonder how the 1980 Webster's Dictionary would read on grammar.
Well, yeah, I mean, the more you got to compare, the better, man.
But at any rate, the American Bar Association's one of their primary objectives was the setting of the academic standards for Americans. And you can search out 8th grade test from the 1800s. There's no way I could pass it. And I have shared that with some of the most intelligent people that I know. And I said intelligent. I didn't say intelligent, because in quantum, intelligent means no intelligence. In means no. There's a couple of others. I think that's called a prefix.
Well, what's up with that word invaluable? People say, "Oh, that's invaluable information." What do you mean? It's worthless? You know, I don't know. I don't understand that. They say, you know, shouldn't they be saying it's valuable information? What's up with that word invaluable? You know,
as part of it. No, I am in the house, well, that's, those are separate words, but income means no come. Invalid means no valid. In the quantum, in the Babylonian, and this is why we're so fucked up. So in the quantum, you would say telligent rather than intelligent. But the primary purpose, as I comprehend quantum grammar, is it is contract language. And of course, as we evolve and we learn how to own our authority in the now time, now space with quantum grammar, the words that come out of our mouth when we have conversations are going to change. People won't say intelligent, they'll say intelligent. And at any rate, I was using postal mechanics and the judicial process for court before I learned about Russell. I'm in the big league. I'm swinging at Gretchen Whitmer. She carries a bar card. Her husband was a dentist who decided to get out of dentistry when Gretchen became governor because he was too afraid. He didn't have security detail like Gretchen. At least that's the report that I read. Of course, Gretchen is no help for the people. Yet when lockdown, Gretchen declares cannabis business is essential. But Ethan, born in Detroit, Michigan, Detroit Receiving Hospital in 1958, lived my life in Michigan.
Right on the other side of the lake from me.
Right on.
Lake Erie, yeah.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Michigan.
Detroit's on Lake Erie, right?
Oh, Detroit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where you said you were born.
Yeah.
I'm on the other side of Lake Erie in Buffalo.
God. So, at any rate, I was using postal mechanics in the judicial process before I learned about Russell. And then the People's Bureau of Investigation, it was Tim Dever who put that together, somehow connected with me. I guess they'd been watching my videos and like, is this guy for real? Is he CGI? Who is this guy? Well, Tim is just about now 3 years in prison because of his work for the people. He had been a fighter for a long time. Shortly after Tim and I were communicating, there was another fella came in to the People's Bureau of Investigation's view, Thomas D. Murphy, and he's dead now. Tom had discovered how to purify water at the source. So you got a house, you got a well, you got a septic tank, all that water going into the septic tank. Tom's process purified the water, made it potable, healthy drinking water. Could be over and over and over. Did I blow out?
No, I was messing around. let's see.
So, at any rate, after I got involved with the People's Bureau of Investigation, and the People's Bureau of Investigation got involved with Tom, there was Tom had put together this thing he called the Environmental Court, and he really did a good job of putting this together. But his problem was that he was relying on an act of Congress, which is fraud, right? So
It's all fraud.
Okay, Congress is fraud. Everything since at least 1871 is a fraud and illegal, unlawful. And so, at any rate, Tom had put together quite a bit, and so there was process servers serving amicus briefs. Are we still there, Chris? I don't see you.
Yeah, I can hear you, but I don't know. I'm messing with this layout. Just keep going. I'll get it.
So so that the service was being done registered mail, and registered mail will run you $18 to near $30, depending on where it's being sent to and what post office you're dealing with. And some of these process servers were trying to do 10 a day or more. There was a financial incentive in this for the process servers that never did come to fruition. But at any rate, there was a lot of good energy. The people were standing up and they were participating. They were speaking out. They were trying to get the attention. Well, a woman came into the chat one day and started talking about 2-cent mail and postage paid mail, and all I could find doing research was, well, sometimes I do it like this, and it works, and then sometimes it doesn't, and then I'll do this, or I'll go to another post office, and I'm like, well, this is no good. This is no good for the environmental court serving amicus briefs on the likes of governors and judges and sheriffs and mayors, et cetera, right? So I decided I'm going to the post office and I'm going to find out what's what. So I went in there with a mailer, the return address had my name, not in all uppercase letters. The zip code was in brackets, and it said without the United States. There were other things on that mailer, as well as the postage paid marking that I put on. So I'm ready to send this registered mail as a test to Kingsland, Texas, from Kalkaska, Michigan to Kingsland, Texas. And the girl, she gave me a little pushback, and I said, no, this is postage paid. And she says, I've never done it that way. Her feet never moved. She didn't leave her station. She didn't ask for help. She didn't call a superior. She stayed right there with her fingers on the keyboard or touchpad or whatever it was she was doing. And the next thing I know, my 3806, which I had filled out, comes out of the machine. She put it in the machine. It comes out of the machine with all the markings on it, $0, 0 cents. A label, sticky label, spits out of the machine. She peels the back, puts it on the mailer, $0, 0 cents. the register receipt, prints out a long receipt, $0, 0 cents. That mailer went through distribution center after distribution center after distribution center, all the way to Kingsland, Texas, where Tom Murphy retrieved it, took a picture of it, sent me the picture, and the return card came back to me, and in the system, it showed delivered. In the United States Postal Service system, it showed as delivered. So then they wanted me to start teaching that. So I started teaching it. And the process servers were having a lot of success, but they didn't do it the way that I did. Because they wanted, there was a lot of fear. These people were, what they were doing, they're putting their lives in jeopardy, and they know it. And so there's a lot of fear goes behind sending that kind of paperwork out. Because you're sending it to who? The dirty ones, right? The evil ones. And so it was determined that the 3806, you fill it out, you keep the top copy, the bottom copy gets slipped in with the return card. The return card return address was to the environmental court in Kingsland, Texas, and on the mailer, the return address was the home address of whoever they were serving. So it got sent to the business address, the return address on the mailer, like if they're going to reject it and they're going to return it, would go to the home address. And so this was to have anonymity for the process servers. Well, some of the process servers were starting to get knocks on the door by sheriffs and police, because somebody would get served, they'd pick up the phone, they'd call the post office and make them get that 3806 out of the safe. Well, that's private information, but this was the kind of shit that was going on. And so it really caused a lot of trouble. And it caused a lot of trouble for me as well. There's a 2-minute video on my channel of me at the post office that was an hour and a half. YouTube kept shutting down the feed, shutting down the feed, shutting down the feed. The post office created a public disturbance and called the sheriff's department, and they come rushing over with assault weapons, and they were ready to take me out. I had really been heavily promoting a YouTube video from Cop Block. The channel's Cop Block, and the title of the video is "When Should You Shoot a Cop?" And so they, you know, I was pushing things really hard at that time, and so they sent this big old son of, he comes bold, you know, comes in shoulders back and charging at me, and luckily I was able to back him down. I had the camera going. There were a couple men there with me. At any rate, an hour and a half of video, and what I ended up with was 32 minutes. I watched 32 minutes on YouTube. Maybe 2 days later, it's down to 2 minutes. No strike from YouTube, no communication from YouTube, no nothing, just burn the book, because of what I did. I facilitated postage paid registered mail. I have the 3806. I have the register receipt. I have the return card, and I have a picture of the mailer when it was received in Kingsland, Texas. And when it got there, I was so happy. I was thrilled. And then about 3 days later, it was like a ton of bricks hit me in the head. Holy shit, boy, do you comprehend what you did? You contracted Sovereign. You contracted Sovereign with the with the post office. The post office is sets the standard for contract. The Universal Postal Union sets the standard for contract. So I contracted as sovereign. And when I came to that realization and I started teaching this is when they had to double down on me again. So at any rate,
they about shit themselves. I remember that when you went into the post office.
Yeah. And I was there several times. And so right now it's false advertising. You go and see, people started checking on me. They started doing the tracking because I made the number available. And then here, somewhere around a year ago, I got alerted that my tracking was not in the system. They have deleted it. So yeah, that's how big that was. You know, it's like oral health with cannabis. Nobody has to be suffering from tooth decay, bleeding gums, receding gums, bad breath. You know, none of this. And cannabis is not the only thing. There's xylitol. Xylitol is a sugar substitute. It comes from the birch tree, and they apparently back in the day the natives would make toothpicks from the wood from the birch tree. So there are other things, but there's things that cannabis will do that xylitol is not going to do for your health. And
Ethan,
yeah,
you got 1 second. We got You Have Rights, Cops Have Duties in the house, and he said it's awesome that you have such a good man coming to talk with you tonight.
Thank you.
Sorry to interrupt you.
It's good. It's nice to be appreciated. So yeah, so at that stage in my life is when I started learning about Russell, and I started learning about postal mechanics, and I started learning about quantum grammar, and then I had almost a moment of panic when I came to the realization that all of my court cases have been done in Babel, which says nothing in the now time, now space quantum world. And even though my cases are very far along as far as deposition, discovery, chance for rebuttal and remedy, so far everyone is guilty, has pled guilty, and yet there is no jury. There's no 12-judge panel to state what the punishment should be for the criminals and what the restitution should be for the people. And I say for the people because one of my cases is with the DEA. And there's a class action there for $10 a day for every man, that's male or female, every man that has been denied oral health with cannabis. $10 a day, $10 a day for you. It's been building up for years, Chris. $100,000 a day for every man that is incarcerated for cannabis. You got people who've been sitting in prison for 30 years because of a joint. So that's why I say for the people. So I got very, very concerned about that. And then I came to the realization, look, all of my cases can be finalized in the now time, now space, quantum reality in military tribunals. And I'm quite confident that that's where it's going to go. So
that's one thing we differ on, but you know, because you know, what are they waiting for? You know, the military's de facto too, as I see it. You know, I'm not.
All right. The military has been rogue since at least 1871. For a fact, the military has been rogue since at least 1871. It was somewhere around 1877, 1878 that the military, I believe it was the Army first, mutilated the Title IV flag with a yellow fringe and a tassel.
Yeah.
And then they started parading it to show that that the United States military is now warring on the American people with the American people, that the United States military is warring on the world with the American people. So the militaries have all been rogue since at least 1871, if not more. And government, the Republic, as fucked up as it was, ceased to exist and became incorporated, right? And then over the course of time, through the 1970s, they have incorporated every state's incorporated, every county's incorporated, every city's incorporated, every township, every village, they're all incorporated now. This is all bar fuckery. And we haven't had anyone to tell us. Mom and Dad didn't tell me. Grandma and Grandpa didn't tell me. My teachers didn't tell me. Nobody told me. All I ever heard all my life, oh, you got a problem? You need an attorney. Bullshit. I don't need no bar agent. I don't need to be going into no Crown Court. And so that's why I started saying a little earlier. I was watching a movie the other day, and it's like a perfect English like you and I are having. Like the Canadians, the way they say out, I can't say out the way Canadians say out, but that's one word.
Are you ootin' the boot?
It's something like that. And so I can always tell when I'm dealing with a Canadian when I hear certain words, but a lot of the words you can't tell. And I'm watching this movie. I have no idea that this is in Canada. And the guy ends up in court and they say the Crown Court. And that's when I came to the realization, holy shit, this is going on in Canada. And then it registered in my head like, this is what they should be calling the courts here in America. Crown Courts, because that's what they are. That's a British flag. That flag that looks like an American flag is not an American flag. That is a mutilated flag. That is a captured flag. It stands for no nation. It stands for no constitution. And so flag law is one of the simplest things for people to learn. What is the flag standard? That's what holds the flag. What's on top of the flag standard? Is it a ball? A ball is for peacetime. Is it a spire? Is it a gold spire? That's for martial law. That's for war. Is it wings out? That's executive. Is it wings up or is it wings down? And I don't know which one is which, but one of them is Vatican, the other one is banking. So if the people could simply comprehend flag law, well, that ought to open their eyes to the fact that there's something really wrong in these courts because we don't have an American flag in the courts.
Bag law?
Huh?
Bag law?
Flag.
Yeah, I know.
Flag. So, Yeah, this is very dangerous stuff for them, for the bad guys, right? For the sheriffs, for the attorneys, for the governors, the congressmen, the senators, all these, you know, all these ones that are so involved in slaving us and torturing us. So I am well, I've taken the position I'm not going to believe anything. A little earlier, I heard you say you believe in quantum grammar. You see, I'm done believing, and I'm done not believing, because believing and not believing is what got us where we are. I either
Well,
know.
I don't know it well enough, you know, to say that that I know, you know, what you could do with it, or and I haven't used it, you know, to speak on my experience on it. So saying I believe in it, you know, is about the best endorsement I could give it at this point. You know, to be fair, you know.
I know what you're saying, but I think if you spend a little bit of time pondering on the situation, contemplating the situation, I think you'll come around to the fact that believing and not believing is what got us in the situation that we're in today. I'm not going to believe or not believe anything ever again. The only thing I will believe in is myself. That's it. Otherwise,
well, I don't believe in myself. I know myself. You know,
I know.
There's a difference between believing and knowing. You know, that's what you're getting at, right?
I'm going. You see, I see. I'm going to believe in myself and nothing else, because believing is what got us in trouble. I mean, I either know or I don't know, and in that process, a couple things take place. If I don't know, then do I care? That's the next question for me. If I don't care, well, then there's no need for me to do research, investigation, etc., etc. If I do care, then I think I by right I should be investigating. I should be researching. I should be, because I care, and then I will get a leaning this way or a leaning this way. As to what the facts are. This is bullshit. You know, the bullshit meter's going off, or the man, this sounds good. This sounds right. Meter is going off, and so you might go this way, and then a few days later, well, you're leaning this way, and then but that's the process of ferreting out the information.
I heard a good one. I heard a good one today. This guy said, "Be careful who you're dealing with." You know, he goes, you know, people that don't care. He goes, because you either care about everything or you don't care about nothing. And if somebody doesn't care about nothing, you think they care about you? I think that was pretty good.
Well, I care about you. I care about all the good people, and so my fight has been. I mean, it started out for me because I was being attacked. It took me 5 years to learn that I was being attacked. It took me 5 years to learn that the United States Patent Office examiner and my patent attorney were working against me. It took
Everything's an attack. You know, unsolicited people at your doorstep or putting shit in your mailbox is an attack on you. Whether you realize it or not, it is. Whether you realize it or not, you're under attack.
Yeah. We all are. But I mean, I was, in addition to all those attacks that we all live with all our life, I was under attack internationally from the highest levels of government, and it followed me to Canada and to Jamaica, and it has interfered globally.
Well, we don't say globally on this channel, but
over the world.
There we go. Thank you.
So, Jan, that's the beauty of quantum grammar. We wouldn't have no issues with, we would know because everything means the same.
Yeah, you mean all over the world, but I don't know, just that's something that jumps out at me now, based upon my my research, not my feelings or anything, just evidence that that I've seen, not to go off on a tangent, but
well, we're babbling, so I think if we as long as we're comprehending, no need to pick and then go off track, get off, because right now I kind of forgot what I was talking about.
Well, let's get back to where you left off the last stream. I forget how many days ago that was, but about your story. Do you remember where you left off about your about the cannabis? Did that oral health with cannabis?
I know. I was talking about a lot of this. I was talking about the courts. I was talking about the military flyover.
It's all part of it, man. It's all consuming. Once you find yourself, engaged with it, there's you can't just dip your feet in the water. That's why most people never take the first step. They're scared. They're more comfortable, and they prefer the tranquility of servitude than the animating contests of freedom, and they don't want to read. So
figured out how you can play a YouTube video on the live stream for the people.
I have not, but I think I got to preload them, and I don't know if that's behind a paywall. I think it might be. I've seen people do it on other devices, but I don't have another device at this time. So I mean, as far as we're concerned today, I don't have the capabilities.
I've got YouTube video, a couple of them. I'll put it. Oh, I don't think you have comments. The last video doesn't have comments. It has live chat replay.
I turned them on, and we got some comments. I don't know why it was set like that.
Yeah. Okay, so in fact, I think I did get a comment in there.
Housekeeping stuff.
So if comments are on, I've got a couple of YouTube videos that I'll put in the comments shortly after we're done here.
That'd be good. Or you tell me which ones you want. I could drop them in the description too. After the stream. Either way.
Okay. I'll drop them in the comments so people can look for them in the comments.
Very good.
I've got a lock on my mailbox. It has been there.
I love that.
Been there since February of 24. I've had a lock on my mailbox since February, and not just a lock. Signage. Due to corrupt criminal activity, this location is closed.
I love that's awesome.
More signage. So I'll drop that in the chat. So I've made a lot of sacrifices for my fight. I've made some big stands, and I'm fighting for all the people. I'm fighting for the women. I'm fighting for the children. I'm fighting for the disabled, I'm fighting for the men. I'm fighting for everyone. It's not about me. It stopped being about me. 40 million root canal teeth in America every year. 40 million. In the 10 years I've been trying to bring this forward, that's 400 million teeth. How much pain and suffering did the people go through with those 400 million teeth root canal?
Oh, they don't care. They don't care about that.
Time, add up the time wasted on 40 million needless root canals, and comprehend that every root canal tooth is a toxic tooth. Every root canal tooth is every dead tooth. But a root canal tooth people think are safe and good, safe and effective. Like the Jabberdewy, safe and effective, huh? So no, every root canal tooth is a poisoning factory. You can look at it as a factory that operates 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, never takes a break, never takes a vacation, never takes any time off, poisoning us. And since I got my toxic teeth out, I have recovered from over 40 chronic conditions. I have regained, I've lost 2 inches of height in my lifetime. I've regained 3/4 of an inch in my height. What does a doctor do? What does a doctor do your whole life? I don't know what they do. I haven't been to a doctor in a long time. You just go to a doctor, they'd ask you to open your mouth, stick out your tongue, then they cover your tongue with this big fat stick and shine a light down your throat and look down your throat. They never looked at your mouth. They have separated dentistry from medicine for a very good reason. Because they're killing us with these toxic teeth. So you got a dead tooth, you got a dead tooth, you got a root canal tooth, you got a dead tooth. And it's poisoning you. 400 million of them in the 10 years I've been trying. That's just in America. This is genocide.
Well, I came up with this conclusion on my own that they're drilling holes in perfectly good teeth of children. Because name any other animal. I'm not an expert on but I know there's some animals like that have adult teeth get 2 sets, another set of teeth that come in, when their skull outgrows the baby teeth. And why are those teeth that our creator made designed us to last the rest of our lives more susceptible to the decay when they're brand new? Oh, could it be because the parents of those children have an insurance policy? It's just like when they mutilate the penis in this country shortly after being born. They drill holes in perfectly good teeth because insurance covers that. No, why miss the fucking why they're on the gravy train drilling holes in brand new teeth. And I don't hear anyone else talking about this. And a friend of mine, his mother, they moved from out of state. I met him in school, but he just a few years ago, I reunited with him. We were talking, and he said he was the only one that his mother didn't have insurance, to take him to the dentist at that age, whatever it was. And wouldn't you know it? Lucky for him, he was the only one out of his class that didn't have cavities that needed to be drilled and filled.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
told him too. I said I'm going to go out on a limb here, and say you never had a problem. Yeah. Oh wow. Well, isn't that lucky? Being sarcastic, of course, but that supports my contention that it's like those butchers that they keep doing whatever the easy surgery, like drilling out, behind your nasal cavity. There's one doctor in Florida. He did that over and over again to people. He didn't give a damn. They didn't need it. He told them they needed it. They trusted him, and he built the insurance company.
One thing I learned that was a little disturbing is that children die in the dental chair. Statistically, every dentist will experience one death in the dental chair in the lifetime of their practice. And Texas is or was the only state that reported deaths in the dental chair. So we have children dying in the dental chair for a fact. We have adults dying in the dental chair for a fact. We have today, the vast majority of the population does not trust a doctor. Many of them are very dependent on the doctors, but they're not trusting the doctors. And they're looking for alternatives and other ways to get their health. And the doctors, all they do is poison us, right? Every prescription is a poison. And I talked about this on the last one. 15 years ago, the billboards here in Michigan on the highway said the leading cause of death for Americans, medical errors. And today you can search and find articles that say leading cause of death, prescription drugs, properly prescribed, properly filled, properly taken, leading cause of death. Third leading cause of death, psychiatric drugs, properly filled, properly prescribed, properly filled, properly taken. So we're not talking about drug interaction here. We're not talking about errors. So the first and third leading cause of death, there are claims, is prescription drugs. Every prescription drug is a poison. Who the fuck can poison another man, male or female? Who? Doctors. Doctors. That's who. And dentists. Doctors do it with the prescriptions, and the dentists do it with both. They put in a factory, a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week, never takes a break factory, poisoning you. And then they use the drugs too, right? They use the drugs. And Michael Jaco had a guy on his show about a year and a half ago, claimed that every Novocaine shot has the toxicity of 200,000 cigarettes. Think about that. So this is what we live with. They're after us every way they can, and the people don't want to know the truth. They're afraid of the truth. The truth scares them. And that's
transparency in the house.
Who we got in the house?
Tennessee transparency in the house.
Hey, Tennessee.
We got two Tennessee brothers in here. Juggalass, Tennessee volunteer. Tennessee transparency. A fine state. But I lived in Tennessee for a little while.
All right, so I talked about this a little bit. 2016, I got an email from Dental Clinics North, Mansalona. Don't ever talk about oral health with cannabis in our office again, or we will bar you for life. So I didn't. And I got service from Dental Clinics North for years. I had a situation where I was in tremendous pain. I had a tooth abscess. I couldn't get to a dentist. Eventually, the pain went away. I'm living with the tooth. I know I got to get it out. It's a dead tooth. It's a toxic tooth. But I'm busy putting together a land location for a court of law for the American people. That's what I was doing. I was busy with that. And then all of a sudden, I'm in pain again. And I thought I had a root tip coming up, but it wasn't. It was a bone spur. But at any rate, I go to Dental Clinics North. And well, I called for emergency, same day emergency service. They said, yes, we still offer same day emergency service, but you need to wait a week, Ethan. I wait a week, I get there, I walk in, and well, we'll give you an emergency evaluation, but no service. Right? And I told the story. So for 2 years, well, then I went to Birch Street Dental, and I told the story in the previous video. There's a lot to it. And from that point forward, for 2 years, I could not get any dental service from any dentist. I'm retired with Social Security. I got Humana insurance. Humana worked against me for years. I finally got in to a dentist, and that was because of an independent insurance agent who backdoored me in. And then things kind of got a little ugly with that dentist. They weren't going to give me service. They were only going to give me an exam. I talked with the office manager who went to bat for me. And then the dentist and I had a couple of long conversations prior to my first appointment. And then before my appointment, they sent me this email. I'm going to read it to you. It's short. Ethan, Doc blank here. I'm not going to dox him. Looking forward to your appointment tomorrow. Just a heads up. Just a heads up. Please do not bring any free samples of your magic mouthwash. It would be inappropriate for us to accept it. Further, as a heads up, one of my assistants is related to local law enforcement officer. She normally doesn't work directly with me, but will likely be within earshot for some of our earlier parts of your appointment. Now, that email bothered me and still bothers me. Why is it inappropriate for someone in the practice of oral health to refuse samples of a mouth rinse that removes calcified plaques, prevents calcified plaques, rejuvenates gum tissue, prevents gum tissue loss? When the gum tissue grows back, we see the gaps between the teeth tightening, the teeth come close together. It puts a protective coating on the teeth that's impermeable to acidics, apple cider vinegar, tomato juice, etc., etc., etc. Please, as a heads up, do not bring a sample of something that is natural, that will destroy our business. It would be inappropriate for us because we are here for tooth decay. We are here for plaque. We're here for the pain and the misery, right? And law enforcement, like I'm supposed to be, what, I'm a fucking criminal? Yeah, I'm public enemy number one in their eyes. But this is the mindset of the dentist. He'd been to my website. He saw the pictures. He heard my story. He said, so far what you said hasn't scared me off. And and he agreed to give me service and not simply an evaluation. But before I get there, this is the email I get. What do you think of that, Christopher?
Doesn't surprise me. Sounds about right.
So,
Not right, but you know.
So they gave me a cleaning. They gave me an evaluation. I only have a few teeth. I don't have many, and I don't want to lose any more. And he determined that again.
You should get a discount when you go there. Got less teeth, you know.
Well, no discount. Just at any rate, he determined that two of the teeth should be crowned, and I got two crowns. And then within about 4 months, one of the crowns completely disintegrates. Completely disintegrates. And the attitude from the office was, well, you should just go get that tooth pulled. And then they told me, they said, look, the tooth has too much decay and bone loss. And that's when I knew they were lying to me. Because I got a 2-page PDF. He did a very extensive evaluation and documented it. 2-page PDF file. I said, it was only weeks ago that tooth was proposed to be crowned and an anchor for a partial. How is it that today it has bone loss and tooth decay? Why didn't you even put the crown on it in the first place? And I sent an email, and I said, in a theater of RICO, I hope you make a wise decision. I said a lot more, but I took a real chance with that email, because they could have simply canceled my appointment. They could have said, you're too much trouble, right? But you see, I think I put the fear of God in him with that email, and the rework that he did, he put a high quality crown on there and told me I have a very strong tooth. It's stronger than the teeth on either side of it. And because of that, he made it a little bit proud of the other teeth. So it'd be less impact, when I'm chewing. So I was trying to get him to be concerned about martial law, because that email, is that email not oppression and suppression of oral health with cannabis? You're shaking your head yes, right?
Yeah.
That is obviously oppression and suppression of oral health with cannabis. He is an ADA dentist. The ADA took the position in 2016, we won't look at this unless an ADA dentist recommends it. He knows that. And the ADA and the bar and the Department of Justice has had a real hard-on for oral health with cannabis. And they have international reach. So that's RICO, baby. And that means everybody working in there, the hygienist, the receptionist, the bookkeeper, they're all part and parcel. And the day of reckoning is coming. So I don't know how, we haven't really talked, so I don't know where your worldview is, but I have a high confidence. I have a very strong leaning that there is a global military alliance that is taking down the deep state, the Babylonian system, and bringing a a now time, now space to reality. And so I say this with not lightly, not lightly.
I have something on with that I noticed evidence that people are waking up. The other day, a video came up in my feed. You know, just that this stuff is coming up in my feed is a good sign to me. You know, stuff that would otherwise, you know, be buried. It's been buried for, you know, years and years. But the guy's name was John Quaid, I think it was. And I was surprised I never heard of him. He was doing a presentation on common law, and it was great. But the video is 10 years old. And I saw in the comment section from like 9 years ago, somebody said, you know, it's really sad that this video only has 200 views. And then people were posting underneath that, well, you know, this is this year, you know, and it has this many views now. And you know, I did the same, and it had how many? Over 100,000 views, I think. That had just happened like in the last couple of years. It had really gotten a lot of views. So, you know, it's like everything is dependent upon what information they allow to, you know, people to see, you know. But I mean, I don't know if, you know, the military or you know, whatever, the deep state or whatever, you know, the powers that be that control, you know, and you know, like siphon out access to information is it seems like now they're almost pushing it to, you know, showing people like, hey, come on, you know, time to stand up, you know, wake up, you know, time to fucking stop paying taxes, you know, to fucking you know, these incompetent you know, fraudulent actors, you know. I mean, what's it gonna take? You know, how much do the people have to see? You know, it's like at a certain point, I think you know, and I think that point's probably coming soon. I think nobody else is gonna wake up. You know, the ones that they're purposely ignoring, that, you know, they want to lie to themselves to excuse the, you know, their own cowardice. You know, it's too late in life for them to they're never going to admit that they were lied to. You know, they're going to die on that hill, you know. But I mean, I've only been online coming up on 5 years now, I think. And it was really censored a lot worse than it is now. Just a year or two ago, you know, you couldn't talk about this, you couldn't talk about that. You know, the things that we talked about now, it probably would have been banned, you know.
A lot of guys are getting their YouTube channels back.
Yeah, they haven't they it's not as censored anymore. I'm not saying, you know, it's we don't have the real internet, you know. It's still a slave internet, but whoever's behind the scenes, you know, pay no attention to that man behind the curtain, you know. But that man behind the curtain is I don't know if they want everyone to take a stand so they could wipe them all out, you know, and then it'll be completely unopposed, or you know, it's all scripted, and you know, they want it's supposed to play out, you know, the greatest story ever told, where people rise up against their, you know, their oppressors. But I mean, it's not organic, you know. It's controlled by information, access to information.
Right. So the way I see it is they're using the benevolent is using essentially the same playbook. We have been brainwashed. We have been MK Ultra'd. We have been programmed through the television and the universities and everything. And so how do you reverse that? You can't turn on a dime that this is too big, like an ocean freighter is not going to turn on a dime. It's too big. And so, yes, look, a lot of people that listen to this know about the resets. They know something about Tartaria. They certainly know about previous civilizations like the Sumerians and the Egyptians and others, and they keep coming up with more. All these past civilizations that some of them were resets. Probably many of them were resets, and it looked like they were getting ready to do it again, right? You know about the Georgia Guidestones?
Yep. Sure do.
Okay.
Right,
so you know what that's all about. Now, what happened to the Georgia Guides? They got obliterated, didn't they?
Yeah, it proves flat Earth, the Georgia Guidestones.
Well, I don't know if it proves flat Earth, but it was.
I can tell you why I'm saying that real quick. There's a hole in it that no matter what time of year you look through it, you would see Polaris, the North Star. And how would you do it? How would you do that?
So I want to kind of stay on the track I was going.
Yeah, okay, go ahead. Couldn't help myself.
So Guidestones have been obliterated. The Georgia Guidestones, they wanted 500 million slaves and everyone else dead. The Georgia Guidestones have been obliterated, and they didn't treat that like a normal crime scene. They went in, they bulldozed, they cleaned it all up right away, just like the Charlie Kirk thing, right? So you've got a lot of, if you got the eyes to see, you got a lot of information that's telling us that there is something that's going on. And so if you heard of Derek Johnson, do you know who Derek Johnson is?
Yeah, I know a little bit.
Went viral a couple years ago, and Derek Johnson's an ex-military guy, maybe current military guy. I think he re-enlisted or got back in, with that program. But Derek talks about the executive orders, the PEDS, the military code of justice, and then all this, and he puts it all together, and everything he brings forward proves that there is a global military operation, and he's got a book called The Midnight Rider Rides Again, which has all this information in it. And so are there executive orders? Yes. Is there a law war manual and courts martials and the code of justice, the military code of justice has all been updated? Yes, 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 yes. But it's all Babylonian fiction. It is, none of it is in the now time, now space quantum reality. So, and Derek, he's Mr. Law and Order. And back early, he said he answers all emails himself. Be patient, he answers all emails himself. Well, Derek Johnson would never answer my email, because Derek Johnson will never, ever, ever talk flag law. So what does that tell you? That's got to tell you a lot. Now, one of the things that Derek talked about was military aircrafts in places where they shouldn't be. And you could do your own research. and you'll find it to be true. And so when I gave the American people a land location for a court of law, and I called the sheriff, undersheriff, judge, court clerk, prosecutor, chief of police, and postmaster, that's when the military started showing up here with Black Hawk helicopters at treetop level. We had a lot of activity here over the course of a week. And one of those events was a 6-engine Soviet-era bird that buzzed my rooftop. I've never seen a bird like this before. And it's huge. You park a 747 next to it, and that 747 looks like a Cessna. That's how big that is. So all this activity, blatantly obvious, happened when it started 2 days before court, and it went on for about a week. And it has been going on ever since. It's been going on ever since. The military is communicating with me on a daily basis. Now, go back to I think 2020. It might have been 21, but I think it was 2020. I had held many cases, Gretchen Whitmer, DEA, USPTO, sheriffs, judges, blah, blah, blah. So I took copies of that and I sent it to Camp Grayling with another court case for the 3 garrison commanders. I gave them all the evidence of the court cases. They got the court cases, they got all that evidence, and now I have them in court. And I ordered them to readiness and report for duty. Those 3 garrison commanders have all been replaced. I don't know when that happened. And I wish that I had a little bit more knowledge at the time, because the paperwork said notice to agent is notice to principal, notice to principal is notice to agent. And that is what most people do. And there's a guy across the pond, an old man by the name of Peter Gunn, and he came up with notice to agents, notice to principal, notice to principals, notice to agent is notice to successors, substitutes, stand-ins, and replacements. And I would like to have had that line on my paperwork, because like I said, those 3 garrison commanders have all been replaced. But in the end, it truly, really doesn't change anything. So I gave the American people a land location for a court of law and invited all of America to be here and told America, this is your court. You come here. You bring your jury, you bring your judge, you bring your claims, and you hold court. You now have a land location and a court. America, you want a building there? Come and put a building there. Pull in a trailer. I don't care. Do whatever you want. This is for you. You don't have a court of law. You have never had a court of law until Ethan gave you a court of law, until Ethan stood in that court of law and acted as a prosecutor. And this is when the military showed up. And the military has been communicating with me basically on a daily basis, basically every day now for about 2.5 years. And you've seen some of the videos. Most of those videos are on Rumble and on Telegram. Uploading to YouTube is such a pain in the ass. And here this summer, when they gave me the VIC, you look at that video on YouTube, and it says that is video number 20 on out of 40 on Rumble, 40 or 42. So that day alone, I uploaded 40 videos to Rumble, 40 videos to Telegram, and YouTube would take me twice as long to upload to YouTube as I did spend time on Telegram and on Rumble. So YouTube doesn't get very many, but over on Rumble, I got over 1,000 videos of these Sky Communications, and what they have been pounding on me, let's say over the fall season, was martial law and arrest. So Q Drop 22 references the martial law, and the 5-5, that's 2 hands up in the air, 5 fingers, that's the arrest. So I had no idea. I'm getting these timestamps of 5-5 and 22, and I have no idea. But it was the Q-tards. I started following along with the guys over at News Treason and Rambo and Friends, and these guys, they really do some excellent work. They really, really do. And so, from my perspective, it all adds up to there is a global military operation going on. And so, what did you see with Biden? It was that a red pill for America? The guy can't speak a sentence. He falls upstairs, right? He tells you I'm not your president. Trump's your president. You know, I mean, all this stuff, right?
They're always rubbing it in your face.
This is the psychological operation that has to take place to get the people to wake up. This got people asking questions, right?
It's like I said, they're trying. It's like they're trying to get people to wake up and take a stand, you know.
Well,
or confirming how well they got everyone whipped into shape, you know, if they don't.
Yes, yes. To wake up and make a stand, though, that's where I say, to a point, because I'm convinced that the white hats, the benevolent, are controlling the algorithms on me down, the same way that the deep state held algorithms on me down. Now, it's not being reported very much in the mainstream media, but there's a ton of it on YouTube, and it's from I don't know if these the channels, the YouTube channels are, I don't know, they'll have like a military name to it, and but they're talking about these raids, raid, FBI, DEA, ICE, and then they'll have Marines in the title, Navy in the title, and then we're hearing about judges being arrested. You never heard about judges getting arrested. Judges never got arrested. So
I heard of one dying.
That's good.
I know.
But we don't have to feed them. I think now. So Russell, you have some knowledge of Russell.
Yeah, a little bit. More than most, probably. But I mean, I haven't digested it. You know, I think it would take at least a good year of, of studying that to, to have a basic understanding of it.
I've watched virtually every YouTube video that Russell has put out. He has a Telegram channel where only he posts, and then he has a Telegram channel called Postmaster Basics, where they have a live chat typically on Fridays, and that's the only time anybody can comment on that Telegram channel. Now, on Russell's Telegram channel, where only he posts, he put out a meme, and it was the three snakes, and it was Tilde, and I'm going to butcher it because he's got it in quantum, but it was Tilde for the Vatican, Tilde for London, and hyphen for District of the Columbia. That's how it is in quantum. District of the Columbia. It had a hyphen. Now, I've come to comprehend the importance of a tilde, and that is used with location and with number. And so I notice in the meme that District of the Columbia snake, the eyes are like bulging out of its head, like it's taking it up the backside. It's got a big surprise, right? But it's got a hyphen. The other two got tildes. So Russell posted this on his channel midweek. Friday comes along. Postmasters Basics is open, and Rachel's doing what Rachel does. She's like the host of that. She does the talks. And people are putting their comments in. I put that meme over there, and I questioned, should that hyphen be a tilde, or does this mean 1 down, 2 to go? Well, take a look at DC today. It's been under military occupation now for months, right? You got 20 JAG officers in DC, Judge Advocate General. Now, back up to this summer when Russell put the post, and then I questioned the post over on the Postmasters Basics. Nobody responds. Nobody responds. I was shocked. Nobody responds. But a couple days later, I got my answer in the sky, because a jet flying from the east to the west, leaving a trail the whole way. And this trail is staying together. That bird goes out of view over the tree line, and then the whole trail, miles and miles and miles of it, just evaporate like almost instantly. And the only thing that's left is a little teeny bit of trail where the plane went out of view at the tree line. But the winds are bringing that my way. They're bringing it over the tree line and my way. And I'm sitting on the porch watching this. I call it a drift. There's a lot of times these trails, they're designed to drift and come into a certain location at a certain time to be a communication for me. I figured this out. I'm watching this one drift. It takes about 20 minutes. On the end of this straight trail was a huge tilde. Now, how you shit a tilde out the back of a jet in a jet stream in a trail, and it holds together and holds its shape for 20 minutes while it drifts in, is beyond me. But they did, and that was my answer. That was an answer. If you go to my Rumble channel and there's maybe 1,000 videos there of sky events, Any one of them you watch could be just like this, a yawner, because you're not here to experience it. You're not here to see it. And you're not here to connect the dots with all the other ones. And so for 2.5 years, prior to that, there was no air traffic here ever. Ever. None. No commercial air traffic. An occasional prop plane. That's it. But once I decided that the American people needed a court of law and I started talking about it, that's when I started noticing some strange things in the sky. And I couldn't identify the birds. And ultimately, after weeks and weeks and months, I determined that those early ones were Coast Guard. And then as we got to court time, Black Hawk helicopters. And then that Soviet era bird. And then since then, they've given me salutes. I went down to the court last year, summertime. Russell had put out a couple of videos where he was giving authorizations to the Navy. And so I can study quantum grammar from the Postmaster's Basics. I can study quantum grammar from Russell's Telegram channel. I can study quantum grammar from Russell's titles of his YouTube videos. So I did my best to quantum grammar. The title for my YouTube video was Authorization for Michigan Military Command. I went down to the court and I gave authorizations to Michigan Military Command. One of them was to capture all the yellow fringe flags. One of them was, if JAG is still required to carry a bar card, capture them motherfuckers. Did you know that JAG has been required to carry a bar card? JAG has been required to take an oath to the bar. United States military judge advocate generals have been required to carry a bar card. So I'm giving authorizations to Michigan Military Command. I'm using my best quantum grammar for the title. And the next day, 4 jets in a finger spore formation come and give me a show. That was a salute. That's praise from above. I did another, I think I did 2 authorizations from the court. I don't know that I noticed anything after the second one. And then I decided they need a landing zone here. We got all this helicopter traffic. We got all this military traffic. They need a landing zone. So last year I started working on a landing zone. When clearing trees, when I got it large enough that it was usable, I went up on the roof, did my best quantum grammar title, giving Michigan military authorization to use the landing zone. And I end the live stream. I fold up the tripod. I get up out of my chair, up on the roof, and I got to come down the ladder. I'm coming down the ladder, and here comes a jet. I mean, a fighter jet, just screaming. It was another salute, but there was no way I could capture that one. This year, I tripled the size of the landing zone. And I'm at the end of that project, and you've seen the video where they came 3 in formation, dropping trail the whole way. And they call that a VIC. And the Vic is a precursor to the Fingers 4. So they went old school on me. And then they went high tech, because you see in the video, you see those trails instantly vanish. They're completely gone, except directly over my head, there's 3 very short ones, and they're all side by side. That means whatever they switched for those communication trails to evaporate or stay together, that was split-second timing, because those birds were not side by side. You had a lead bird, then you had one on one side that was back, and then further back on the other side. But those 3 trails were side by side, and where? Directly over my head. And I think that hit a 17. 17, that's Q. 17th letter of the alphabet, that's Q. So I've been, you got the gematria, which I don't comprehend at all. You got Tom numbers. That guy kind of drives me a little bit crazy. I can't get my head around all that, but I take in a lot of content. I have nothing to do except fight. I'm in the middle of the woods. I got internet, and that's all I got. So I take in a lot of content. And one of the guys that I pay attention to is Mr. O'Savin, Juan O'Savin, 107. And Juan teaches about some of the numbers. He teaches that the devil worshippers, these numbers are important to them. And so apparently 11 means chaos, discord, war. So I get 11 timestamps. I can figure that's what the military's telling me. When I get a 17, that 17 is victory. 19 is the power number, right? Like COVID-19, 19 is a power number. And
AI.
Say again?
19, the letters in the alphabet is AI.
Right. Correct. Power number. So they started hitting me with these 22s and these 55s, and I couldn't comprehend it. And I simply call out the time. If I can catch the time, a lot of times I have to move so fast I don't even have time to look at the time. Because these sky events, they're not announced, and if I don't move fast, I don't catch them. So the Vic, I captured on video. That one, you could say that I somehow made it. I don't have those abilities, and I have no reason to lie. That one I caught. The other ones, I don't have video for, but I have about 1,000 or more videos from this year, just this year, because I started Rumble this springtime. And so I'm very confident. Have you heard of Ashton Forbes?
No. Should I have?
Well, yeah, I think everybody should be paying attention to Ashton. ASHTON, just like it sounds. Ashton Forbes, FORBES, on YouTube. This guy started looking into the disappearance of MH370. About 9 years ago, military video was leaked, and Ashton started doing what he does about 2 years ago. And so Ashton how do I want to say this? Because like I said, I don't believe and I don't not believe. Ashton is proven himself to be very credible. The way he brings the information forward, the scientific papers he brings forward, the physicists that he brings forward have essentially proven that the advances in nuclear are beyond most our comprehension. They've had technologies from the 50s and 60s that would blow your mind. Virtually everything that you see in Star Trek is reality. Everything is reality, from replicators to warp drives to wormholes to free direct energy conversion. Direct energy conversion from the 0 point electricity. No heat, no radiation, no nothing. So, Ashton Forbes on YouTube is a guy that I pay attention to. So this is more disclosure, Christopher. This is more disclosure that's dripping. Now you've got a large part of the population doesn't want to hear any of this. They don't want to hear paid mail. They don't want to hear about licenses or is administrative slavery. They don't want to hear about 0 point energy. They want to watch the football game. They want to watch the hockey game, the basketball, baseball, go to the bar, have drinks. There's a lot of people like that are not waking up. So,
Never will.
Well, there's apparently a huge. Okay. I want to be careful how I use my words here. My research, it tells me that the bond market is going to crash. This is going to take out the central banks. This is going to crash the central banks. This is going to crash the stock market. That's when everybody is going to get a wake-up call. The banks are done. What about your money? How do you get food? How do you get back and forth to work? How do you do anything? So the fiat currency has to go. The IRS Puerto Rican corporation has to go. The Federal Reserve Puerto Rican corporation has to go, and it is. It's all, from what I see, it's all coming down. But well, the Q board. The Q board looks like it's designed to make us think critically. And in the beginning, the people following the Q boards were kind of stepping on their dicks when they were date fagging. They this, that, and this date this is going to happen, and it doesn't. But they learn. And so News Treason had a guy from Australia on the show a couple of months ago. I'd say about 3 months ago. His name is Burn, B-U-R-N. And these Q-tards are going, my mind is blown. Burns rattling off Q drop after Q drop after Q drop, proving that what was in those Q drops was happening in real time in Australia. So there's double meanings, triple meanings, there's misinformation. and there's real information. You want to say something?
Yeah. Oh, we had 13 in the house. It just dropped to 8. But I just wanted to give a shout out to everyone that I know that's in here. Jugalasses, you have rights, cops have duties. Tennessee Transparency, if I don't miss anyone here. East Carbon Exposed, Jonathan Mazzilla, Anarchy Television, and I don't know if you know all those guys, but that's who we got in the chat. And those are all good channels to check out. I don't think I forgot anybody. I hope I didn't. East Carbon Exposed, Tennessee Transparency, Anarchy Television, You Have Rights, Cops Have Duties, Jugalasses, and Jonathan Mazzilla. Liberty or Death. Jonathan Mazzilla, Liberty or Death. Got court coming up. Now it says 5 in here, but it was just 13. I don't think that's very reliable. And now we got another Tennessee, Lob 110. Got Tennessee showing up. Tennessee showing up tonight. I like that.
Anybody got any comments or questions?
No questions. Got some comments. I've been posting a couple up on the screen there. I don't know if you could see.
They don't show.
Let's see. Anarchy Television says, unfortunately, I don't think most people will understand how bad it really is until they start seeing robots going down the street killing people and the drones are over our heads. Well, I don't think that's going to snap them out of it, either. They're like, well, we need that. That stuff keeps us safe. I think it doesn't matter. They'll be loading us into boxcars and, people will be like, why don't you just comply? What's your problem? I think there's nothing that's going to snap some people out of it. Most people will never snap out of it because to do that, they'd have to come face to face with their own cowardice, and admit they've been lied to, and they've been living a lie their whole life, and most people they're not willing to do that, they'd have to want to improve themselves, to want to see a better world, they don't give a damn.
Well, apparently a young man today in his late teens, early 20s has 15% the testosterone of a 65-year-old. Think about it. A young man today
has less testosterone than a 65-year-old?
15%. 15% testosterone of a 65-year-old man.
Well, that's by design, That's crazy. I never heard that.
That kind of takes the fight out of a man, doesn't it?
I don't know,
Testosterone is what makes a man.
That's what they say. I don't believe. I don't take anything at face value anymore like that. They tell you, oh, science is real. Trust the science. But yeah, I mean, they're not. I can see it. I can see what you mean. I don't doubt it, but I'm just saying. Like DNA, they're always referring back to DNA, well, how come you can't ever show me a picture of that DNA, it's always like a computer-generated diagram. But I got a National Geographic over there that I could show you. In 1984, they were taking pictures of the AIDS virus attacking T cells, they got these images, that said what microscope it was taken with, from what university, and what magnification, So either that was a lie then, you know, they made that shit up, or you know, that's why they like they have book burnings every so often. You know, these uncomfortable things that you know, still floating around, like this newspaper I just got over here at an estate sale. We walk on the moon. Look at that. You know, they wish that it wasn't floating around anymore, because you would believe it's shit. A leap for mankind.
How did they get that camera? How did they get that camera on the moon to watch that first step?
Well, then, you know, that's a good question, you know. And who was the cameraman that they left there that was photographing that return pod, you know, sparking off into the, you know, so, but you didn't need any fuel for that, you know. Don't even get me started, you know. How'd they have a live stream capabilities in 1969 to live stream that to every, you know, black and white television, you know? How'd they get those pictures from the moon to have this published in the paper the next day?
Yeah.
How'd they make a phone call, you know, with that those little satellite dish, you know? Yeah, let's call the president on the telephone. You ever see those? You go to a rock concert and they got those big I don't know what you call it, like a moving truck with all kinds of shit on it, though. That's just to broadcast a concert to the radio station.
Yeah. So what about the? Remember the videos of the nuclear blast testing? They showed the buildings all being obliterated.
I don't know if I seen that. Where was it?
For educational videos on, you know, for the nuclear bomb, and so you watch this massive force, dirt, dust, everything flying, buildings disintegrating all around, but the camera stays perfectly still. Camera's all protected.
Yeah, right. Well, you know, when I was growing up, I remember you had the local news at 6 o'clock, and then they had the national news after that, you know, and they always had a segment where they were showing, you know, they had journalists wherever they were having a war, you know, behind, you know, in a war zone, you know, reporting whatever to the, or whatever they wanted you to, you know, to believe anyways, you know. But then nowadays there's none of that, you know, none of it. It's all it's fucking bullshit, man. But yeah, well, I mean, where is you speaking about the military? Where is the military? They say, oh well, we can't tell people now. You know, that would compromise. You know, it's insecurity. Maybe we'll tell you what we were doing in 2025 in 50 years from now. You know, when it's not relevant. But yeah, who knows? Who knows what they're doing? You know, do they even have you know? I saw a thing that said you know, among the top 10 in the world, but that probably pales in comparison to what the U.S., not the United States of America military, the U.S., you know, or the U.S. Marines is what their flags say. How many, you know, if Ukraine's got 10,000 tanks at the ready, how many you think the U.S. Military is pretending to have, at least, you know? Because they, you know, maybe they don't need that many tanks. They just got to have everyone think that they got that many tanks, you know, so they don't fuck with them. I don't know.
The technology is there to grab that shit and teleport it into oblivion. Same with you know, somebody was to start firing nuclear warheads at us. They have the technology to simply grab it and teleport it right the fuck out of here, or right back at them. And this is the stuff that Ashton Forbes is bringing forward. And so he is a very, very, very good teacher. So he puts physics into layman's terms, is what he does. And so I recommend anybody that has the time start paying attention to Ashton Forbes if you have the interest to learn about zero point energy, aneutronic fusion, wormholes, teleporting, all of this kind of stuff. Because he's very, 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 very good at what he does. And so this is all what appears to be a reality. And we don't know where the military is. We don't know what's going on underground. It would appear, sure would appear that there's more underground than there is above ground when it comes to infrastructure. We don't know. Juan talks about a breakaway civilization in Antarctica that has been advancing technologically and scientifically undisturbed, while the rest of the world is caught up in the chaos and the wars and the slavery.
Well, you know about Admiral Byrd, right? Operation High Jump.
Yes, so it adds up, right? I mean, the more you know.
Well, they had the Air Force down there. I think it was like 1,400 men. They pulled the plug on it, but it was in the wintertime, and they were supposed to be building Little America down there. And they said that, well, he thought that he flew inside of the Earth, is what he said. But they said that they met someone that I think they called him the master. But the problem was he was an expert at public relations. Admiral Byrd was, and after they pulled the plug on that mission, he died. Suddenly died shortly after that, and it was only a couple of years after that they formed the Antarctic Treaty with however many so-called countries that agreed to never let anybody go there, basically. But there's a lot of mystery surrounding Antarctica. But they didn't used to call it Antarctica. You know what my grandfather's generation used to call it? The Arctic Circle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Antarctica. Why can't I go there? What are they worried about me doing? Say me and a couple guys, we wanted to hike to the South Pole, All right, we'll go to Checkpoint Charlie, look at my backpack, I got nothing in there, that they could, contaminate. If it's all ice, what are you worried about me burning down a forest? The biggest risk would be to me to freeze to death. And, don't I have that right to go out on an adventure that I might end up dying on? What the hell are they worried about? What if somebody wanted to go exploring there? Well, don't worry, I'm not gonna try to build anything. I'm just gonna hike to the South Pole and back, and document it. Oh no, you can't do that. Why not? It's a joke. That one kid, he wanted to fly to every continent, and they detained him. He flew out of Chile, I think, into Antarctica or something, and they were all over him. They were all over him. But it's not that inhospitable there either. You see that there's all kinds of penguins there. I see in the one National Geographic I got, they show some scientist lady on the beach, like wearing a T-shirt, and there's penguins all over. So not buying that either. Oh, it's so cold. You don't even want to go there. You freeze your balls off. They're hiding them. They're hiding it from us. But that's they probably knew about it. Long before. I I don't know. You think they knew nothing about it before they had Admiral Byrd down there? And they're like, oh, wow, well, I can't believe what he discovered. We can't let anyone know about that, you know? So kill him, and then, we'll make sure that nobody goes down there from here on out. You know, that was 75 years ago. Something like that.
Right. So we want the truth. That's what we want. We have been lied to about almost everything our entire lives. And so what we want is we want the truth, and we want freedom, and we want justice, and we want love and harmony and good vibration, high vibration, and good health and longevity. So there's let's say 6,000 patents that have been confiscated for national security that are supposed to be released. So there's so much on in virtually all the important areas: health, science, travel, energy, justice, all the important things. It's like so much information is flooding, and more people are waking up, and the mainstream media sure looks to be like it is a lot different than it was even 4 years ago.
No doubt.
So, I don't know where we are in all of this, but one day at a time. The tomorrow's not here. Tomorrow is never here. Tomorrow is always tomorrow. Yesterday is always yesterday. All we have is now.
That's right.
Oh, in the now, boy, we have an opportunity to know things. So Q says, control your emotions and protect your mind. I think that's good advice, because
well, you got to feed your mind, but careful what you feed it. You know, don't feed it bullshit. You know, got to cultivate. Your power of discernment. You know.
Right. So, today's, my children, my children's generation, and probably every generation since, probably getting worse, from the point of being reactionary. Rather than taking a moment for some critical thinking, it's reactionary. And that's not good. And that's by design. And then there's, I heard something that seems to make a lot of, resonates with me, that a position that anybody takes that was created out of emotion. No logic will reverse that. And that seems to be my experiences that I can relate to. In my personal life, there's I have become one of the most feared men on the planet. And I'm trying to deal with that. And this position that I find myself in is something that is from a reaction rather than from critical thinking. So as far as the deep staters go, they have reason to fear me because I am a very good gumshoe. I'm a very good detective, and I'm a very good prosecutor. And it's easy for me to document their crimes in their system. And so they're all afraid of me. There isn't a judge, a politician, a policy officer that can face me. So they have to come at me from the side or the back because they can't face me. And then the general population they're not afraid of me because I'm not a threat to them. They're afraid to engage with me. They're afraid to support me. They're afraid to give a thumbs up on my video. They're afraid to put a comment in the video. They're afraid to make a donation. They're afraid to come over and get free weed, free seed, free plant, free clone, free mouth rinse. I've had signage out there come December. We're only a couple weeks away. That signage out there at the road, plus I advertise on YouTube, I advertise on Rumble, I advertise on Telegram. December will be 2 years, not one taker. I haven't given away a seed, a bud, a joint, a plant, a clone, mouth rinse. Nothing from that signage. Why? Because of fear. So I have literally become one of the most feared men on this planet, and I try to use logic to talk with people who used to be close to me, and logic isn't going to get me anywhere. It's obvious because the positions that they have taken are positions from emotion, an emotion of fear. And so nothing I say apparently is going to change that. It's going to take probably another emotion, another emotional experience to turn that around for a lot of these people. Huh. So this summer, I'm thinking after I got that landing zone wrapped up, they could teleport in here, they can land helicopters in here, whatever they want. I decided that I came to the realization that the military does not have a sovereign base. The military is rogue, and the military does not have a sovereign base anywhere. And all of America has been incorporated. All of the actors in the corporations are rogue, so they truly have no standing, no jurisdiction, no authority. And even though Babel says nothing in the now time now space of the quantum world, the vast majority of us are in the Babylonian structure. So if we simply look at the state constitutions, which I put together, I collected 48 of them. And in 3 of the state constitutions, they very clearly state that you, Christopher, you, anybody watching, American, you have the right to prosecute your own cause. Prosecute. You have the right to prosecute your own cause in any court, in any tribunal in the state. Now, that was back in the time of the Republic, when the only thing people knew was common law across the common land. You can't have a right in Michigan that you don't have in New York or Florida or Texas or California. Common law across the common land. And I found 3 state constitutions that specifically talk about how you have the right to prosecute your own cause. And that's all available for you to download in a PDF from my website on the services page. So that's oralhealthwithcannabis.com. Oralhealthwithcannabis.com. Go to the services page, go to the documents section, and what you're looking for is 48 love letters. And the reason it's titled 48 Love Letters is because my website has been hijacked for a couple of years by GoDaddy. Has been attacked. That original PDF was effed with. And nobody could download it. You couldn't open. You couldn't do nothing. So I was able to delete it, and I had it on a memory stick, saved on a memory stick. So I re-uploaded it, and I changed the title to 48 Love Letters. So that's 48 state constitutions. Georgia is one, and I think Alabama is another one. I can't remember the third. But 3 of the states specifically talked about how you have the right to prosecute your own cause in any of the courts. Did I lose you, Christopher? Christopher dropped out. This one. Oh, I think he's coming back. There he is. I thought I was alone again.
Yeah, man. Flirting with disaster, playing with these settings and stuff. I still can't. I don't think I dropped the link. It wasn't blue. I dropped the link a few times here in the chat, and I don't think it was a link. You know, when it's black, it's like it's not a working link. As far as I know, but I was messing around with that, and I hit the back arrow. And luckily, I was able to get back in there. So other times I haven't.
Right. So I decided that all the state constitutions, all of them say the same thing, but they say it in 2 different ways. It's very short. The military shall be strictly subordinate to the civil authority, or the military shall be in strict subordinance to the civil authority. Virtually every state constitution reads that. When was the last time that you can think of, Christopher, where the United States military branch of any had a civil authority to report to?
Oh, I don't know. I don't pay much attention. You know.
Oh, you know that everything has been incorporated. You know that all these governors, mayors, It's
Oh
set
yeah, I know. I know. You know, I also know that they started a fifth branch of the military called the Space Force. That
Man,
you know, they got people playing video games, you know, thinking they're doing something, saying, "Oh yeah, well we're making sure that you know, your internet doesn't shut down and stuff like that." Really, that's what Space Force is doing? You know,
last time,
how did it work before that? Before they started Space Force? I'd like to know. You know, it's a bunch of bullshit. Yeah, they're making sure all the satellites are tuned up. The Space Force. You know, I guess it doesn't concern them to go back to the moon, but the other branches of the military, man, I couldn't tell you.
last time there was a civil authority for the military to be responsive to. We're talking, when it comes to states, you're talking governor. When it comes to the nation or the country, you're talking president. When was the last time the military had a civil authority to be responsive to be in strict subordination to? When was the last time?
As opposed to what? Civil authority as opposed to what?
State constitution.
Corporate.
State constitutions from the time of the Republic and
maybe back in the days when we had a well-regulated militia.
say the military shall be strictly subordinate to the civil authority, or the military shall be in strict subordination to the civil authority. It both says the same thing. It's two different ways of saying it, but every state constitution reads that way. So when was the last time we had a governor that was a civil authority and not a corporate mole? When was the last time?
1700s?
A long motherfucking time ago, right? That's what we can agree on. A long, but not in our lifetime. So Rusty claims to have entered into contract with the Navy, I think in 2003. I might have the date wrong. I think I got the date right, but Russell stating that he entered into contract with the Navy, that is there. That's Russell's words. That's on his YouTube. So
what's he gonna do? Work in the kitchen? What's he gonna do? Peel potatoes? Oh, then
all right, well, look, you got to comprehend flag law. You got to comprehend that no ship moves without a flag. So the American Navy was kind of in a fucking spot. This is all postal controlled. All shipping is postal controlled. All right, you go to join the military. You got to go to the fucking post office first. All right, so Russell captured the flag. The fucking Navy needs the flag. Russell entered into contract with the Navy in 2003. So in my mind's eye, the first time in generations that the military has had a civil authority to be strictly responsive to is Rusty. The second one is Ethan. Because when I put 3 garrison commanders at Camp Grayling in the high court, in my court, and gave them the evidence of Gretchen warring on the American people and admitting to it with all the other cases, I stepped into the shoes of executive emergency manager in a war theater for the Michigan territory. I don't think Michigan is a state any longer. I don't think any of the states qualify as states. They've lost that.
Well, state's one of those words of art.
And there isn't, and any state that entered the Union after 1871 didn't enter the Republic. It's all a fraud. So the way I look at it is we've got the American territory, lawless. So yeah, the people should stay in lawless. The people become vigilant for their safety, and they form vigilante committees to have protection, because there are no peacekeepers to take care of the lawbreakers. So at any rate, Russell, from my position, from what I can comprehend, is the first man to have civil authority when he entered into contract with the Navy. And as far as Space Force goes, you now have all military under one command with Space Force. So again, to me, this is, I see this as part of the military had to clean up its house.
Yeah, fuck the military, you know? They don't honor their oath, you know? Aren't they supposed to protect against all enemies, foreign and domestic? You know? Don't they realize that, that they're fucking, these police gangs are domestic terrorists, you know? And they're not doing a damn thing about it. It's just a fucking pit that, that they take all the slaves' money to, this is what we're spending it on, and they do whatever the fuck they want, you know?
Said 1877, the military obviously infiltrated, mutilated the flag, and started parading it to say the United States military is now warring on the American people with the American people.
Yeah, so what? You think you're waiting for them to, straighten it, come back to what they're supposed to be doing internally, and then they're going to come and save us from these fucking human trafficking, police gangs and corrupt courts, you know?
What I have done is I have science that cannabis does the things that I claim, and then I stood up, and I was a pure idiot, a complete slave. I knew nothing. I knew absolutely nothing. I was as dumb as a box of rocks. I was dumb as the gravel on the road. Pure slave, absolutely, completely lost. And I have been studying and studying and studying and studying and standing and studying and standing and studying. And so I've been paying attention. So I'm not waiting for the military. No, I called the military.
Call them out on their bullshit, man. Hey, what do you say we wrap this one up, man? Our viewers kind of dropped off. I think some of them guys had to call it a night. We could do this again. I would like to. If sounds good to you.
I'm game.
You want to keep getting a little late? We got 2 hours and 40 minutes here. I find that go much longer than that. It's not digestible. We could go on for hours more. But if they could, people listen in smaller you know, then if we got 5, 6 hours, you know, I've done that before. Not too many people go back and listen to a 9-hour stream. I'll tell you, you know.
I agree. About 2.5 hours should be about the limit.
Yeah, that's where we're at. 2 hours and 40 minutes. You know, I could schedule it. You know, let's keep this time slot. If that works for you, Monday at 10 o'clock. You know, we can meet back here. You know, and
Yeah,
you want to go with that?
I'm good with that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, there's one person left in here. You know, we had 13, so I don't want those guys to have to come back and you know, listen to another hour and see how we wrapped it up. So I'd like to thank everyone for coming out. I wish I could have dropped the links. I don't know. I dropped the link for you know, to come on panel, but it wasn't blue. So I don't know why I had a problem with that, and I need to you know, see if I can get Douglas has got a wrench. You have rights, cops have duties. Give these guys wrenches so they can you know, drop the links so that, you know, of the people in the live chat, so we can visit each other's channels, you know, and be familiar with everyone's work, you know, what they're doing out there. But that was you know, good turnout of a group of guys tonight, man. If you don't know their channels, I encourage you and everyone else that's listening to go check them out. People doing some good work out there, man. I'm proud of all of them, man.
Belligerent claimant in person, is that what that says?
Yeah.
Right.
George Gordon, like I said, that their rights can only be claimed by the belligerent claimant in person, and I'm him. He said.
All right, bro. So, well, it was a good time.
Yeah, man. Good time, man. Good talking to you again, Ethan. And yeah, if anyone that's listening, man, I'm going to schedule that Monday, 10 o'clock again. Hopefully, I'll meet y'all back here. And maybe I'll get anyone wants to come on panel. Hopefully, I can get that straightened out. Douglas is here for the duration. First in and last to leave. Douglas, Tennessee volunteer, reporting for duty. All right, everybody. Peace. Good night.